It's really nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Right, said Fred, you've got a new website, new album,
Yep.
new DVD,
Yep.
and a tour.
And a tour, yes.
Tell us all about it.
Well, the tour is an acoustic tour, but it's not the normal acoustic tour, the way we just play the songs acoustically. We're doing it's about half and half chat and half music. Mm-hmm. So the idea is we do Q&A from the audience, and we tell stories about the songs. People can ask us anything at all. We get people up on stage to play the kazoo when we do Dippy Dippy. You know, it's a real interaction thing. Mm-hmm. We didn't want to just go out and be. We're not very good at being serious singer-songwriter type guys, you know. So clowning around suits us quite well. Although we're very serious about the songs and the writing, but we find it a strain, I think, to sell them in a serious way. Mm-hmm. So that's why we're doing it. And the album and the DVD is available on the website now, but the hard copy will be available in May.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And you're touring through Yorkshire, which
yeah, we're doing Sheffield. Yep, absolutely.
We are indeed. Sheffield on the 28th, I believe.
Yeah.
You've got Hull as well, I think.
Hull, we have.
Hull.
Huddersfield.
Huddersfield, yeah.
Yep. And we're doing some of them at the O2 Academy, the little theatres, and the others it's I think in Hull it's the Piper Club, I think. Brilliant. So these sort of quite small, intimate venues, and we did a run last year just to dip our toe in the water to see it, and they went really well. And it's we've been based abroad for a long time. We've been living in the UK, but signed to BMG in Berlin, and then Ministry of Sound, and working out of Germany for about 12 years. So it's quite nice to be back in the UK, and what's great is everything's so close, because we've been touring. You know, when you start driving, parts of Russia, Eastern Europe, Germany, then we're doing some stuff in South Africa. These are very big territories. So we actually on this promo tour we're driving ourselves, and it was great because an hour and a half it's like, oh, Birmingham, great.
Yeah.
Hour later,
we did a gig in Ekaterinburg, which was about 2 hours flight east of Moscow.
Oh, right, gosh, yeah, it's big
So,
distances.
So it's great. I'm actually enjoying the closeness of it. It's lovely.
And also the language. We can, because we're quite verbal, you know, it's quite nice to be home and be able to talk without having to worry about translations and all that stuff.
All that stuff. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
So really, you're getting back to your roots.
This is where we started.
Intimacy with your fans.
We were talking about this the other day. We started off an acoustic duo, and we're.
And there you are.
And here we are, 20 years later.
Yeah. Also, we've been doing a lot of shows. I think the problem when we first started, people saw us. We didn't fit how people imagine musicians should look. Right. A couple of blokes go down the gym with shaved heads, and so that people assumed we were a project, and we're just a couple of silly gym queens that someone had given a song to. Yeah. But we've actually been. Our first gig, sort of touring, was about '78. And we toured with Joy Division and Suicide, and then we went and toured in America, and we've worked with Dylan and Mick Jagger and David Bowie. We've worked with quite big artists, and then and had our own deals. And I think people assumed because where we sold sexy, took our shirts off and jumped around, that we were dim,
I think,
and it didn't suit the profile. You know, an FBI profiler would have said, they're not musicians. And I think it's taken a very long time for people, particularly the music industry. The public are fine with it, but the music industry is a very narrow-minded industry, and it's really struggled to imagine that we can actually do what we do.
Yeah, because before Right Said Fred, you were performing, weren't you?
Oh, way before. Yeah, 1977, 78.
Touring for. We were signed in America. We moved to New York in '87, I think it was, and signed to Capital EMI and had a deal there. Yeah. And before that, we'd been signed to a couple of independents in London. Yeah. But it's one of those things. Close but no cigar. Released, made records. Things went wrong. We fell out with the label, or the guy left the label. Whatever, usual story. And so when we recorded "I'm Too Sexy," we weren't bothered about getting some sort of album deal. Although we went to all the record labels, all the majors turned Sexy down, and we just thought, well, let's just get it on the radio, see how we feel about it.
We just wanted to hear it on the radio. That's the only thing we wanted to do. We didn't really care about record deals, and we'd given up. Actually, I think psychologically we'd given up on getting a record deal, and so that's why we went straight to Simon Bates with our record company guy at the time. And Simon Bates, in those days, DJs had quite a degree of flexibility, and he just played it off the acetate.
Yeah, he was very cool.
He was very cool,
Yeah.
and that was a huge show. I mean, his show in the morning with Simon Bates was absolutely huge. And that was in the days when, and I think it's a real shame that we've lost that. That in those days, people would tune into the DJ; they wouldn't tune into the show.
They used to follow people.
They used to follow the
Yeah.
DJ, and so that gave new bands and also unusual artists the chance to get played, because people would listen to Simon Bates knowing that he might play something weird. I mean, he played the Carter the Unstoppable Sex Machine, I think, in a morning breakfast show.
Yeah.
You know. So that the power that DJs had then was good and bad, obviously. I mean, everything's got a downside, but. Yeah, and they played it off the acetate, and then by the time we got back to the gym where we were working, BBC phoned up and said the lights have gone mad, you better come back in. And that was it.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So how did it come about that you became Right Said Fred?
Well, what happened after we got back from New York, we'd come out the deal with EMI, Capital EMI. Hadn't seen any of the money, not a penny.
Yeah.
So we got back to the UK and just thought, well, let's go out and do some shows. And we put a load of little gigs together. I mean, just really, pubs and the little gig that used to be at the side of the Mean Fiddler in London. There were 2 Mean Fiddlers. There was a smaller gig. Anyway,
Okay.
so and we did loads of little shows, things like that. But we to put the shows into Time Out, we needed a name for the band. And a friend of mine had just heard
Cribbins.
Bernard Cribbins on the radio. Literally, she channel surfing, whatever she was doing, and she heard Right Said Fred. So she phoned up literally like an hour before the deadline, said Right Said Fred's the name of the band.
Yeah.
So we did that, started touring with just the 2 of us, doing lots of shows. We knew labels were coming to see us and they were quite interested.
Yeah.
But we kind of felt we actually got a bit bored with ourselves quite quickly. So we said, let's try and write a song that we think we've never written and that we're not hearing. So we hooked up with a guy called Rob Manzoni. The first song we wrote with him was I'm Too Sexy.
Yeah.
The minute we weren't sure about it when we first did it, but when we
I'm not sure about it now.
yeah, exactly right. So we sat on it for about. Also, we had no money, so it took us months to save up for the recording sessions. And we were recording at a bankrupt studio in Ealing, and the security guard was letting us in at night.
Yeah.
It wasn't. It was
freezing.
It was gone into liquidation. The studio had no heating, nothing. But he was letting us in, and we were going. So we did Sexy. And then we started playing with a few people. As I said, all the labels turned it down, and then we got it through a friend of Rob's, a lady called Tamsin. She got it into Simon Bates, and that's when it started moving. But it was always going to go wrong. Right Said Fred was always going to go wrong. The reason being is that me, because I'm a nightmare.
Yes.
No, but we had a manager. What happened was the plugger became the record company.
Yeah.
The girl who took the song into Simon Bates became the manager, and me, Richard, and Rob became the band. Well, not became.
None of us had done it before.
But we'd never been a band with Rob.
Right.
We'd been in bands. Rob had been in bands.
Yeah.
Richard and I had been in bands, but we had no connection with Rob. One song.
Yeah.
Tamsin had never been a manager. Our plugger had never been a record company.
Yeah.
So that's fine if the first record goes in at 60, your second record goes in at 40.
Yeah.
And it's an
Build
18
up slowly.
Yeah.
and that's an ideal way to have it. But when your first record is multi-platinum, number 1 in America and 30 odd other countries, and I was within 9 months we'd been number 1 in every territory in the world.
So just catapulted into
It
it.
was
Yeah, it was weird. What's
Yeah.
really weird about it is that you get asked questions about stuff that you have no right to comment on. I was sitting in the gym when Sexy was going up the charts, and the phone rang, and it was a newspaper saying, "How do you feel about the release of Terry Waite?"
Right. You're public people, aren't
Well,
you?
yeah, but it's something I haven't meant to have an opinion on. I
Okay,
don't, you know. So it was very, very stressful. I mean, and I don't think we took to it very easily at the beginning.